if you were the leader of a team right now in college, how would you try to motivate your players to be disciplined, follow safety guidelines, and make sure they don't put the season at risk of not being played?
Well, it's the only way to be able to live out your dream is to be able to follow the rules and the regimens. And I really believe that a lot of these kids are doing a great job at following it. And, if you're Notre Dame, you really have a chance to, it's pretty much you and Clemson, and that's about it in the ACC. So you're competing for an ACC championship, maybe a national championship, but your team's got to be disciplined because a few people not buying in could ruin it for everybody. And so I think this is where great leaders really got to step up. And I know that they're doing it all around the country. I've talked to a bunch of young men that are encouraging their team, hey, listen, guys, we can't do silly things. We can't put ourselves in harm's way. It's not just about, practicing hard and lifting hard and preparing for the game. It's also about understanding social distancing, putting on our mask, and not going to places that we don't need to be. And I think there's a lot of kids that are doing it really well right now. And it's a tough situation for a lot of these coaches to handle because it's a new normal. They're trying to figure this out on the fly. And it's tough for the leaders on the team because while they would spend a lot of time maybe preparing for the game, they're also having to spend time, focusing on where do we go? How do we do it? How are we going to do these little things that sometimes in life you take for granted? But right now to keep themselves, their teammates, and everyone around them safe, they got to be very careful. And that's why I really believe, kind of down the stretch, the team that's able to figure that out the best and how they can kind of, put to practice these rules and regimens, I think is going to, and also kind of do it the best is going to really help them down the stretch because football is so much about routines and practices and finding the groove and getting that momentum and building it up to really get hot down the stretch. And something like this could totally throw off a great team. And maybe the best team in the country doesn't win it this year because they don't figure out how to be able to manage all these different things. So it is going to be really interesting to see what happens. But I think for me, as just a really big, hope and prayers that we can keep all these teams safe and competitive and able to really live out their dream.